Well, Matt, we've got 3 weeks on the road, away games in the EFL so far. Now we're 2 days short of our first home game at Gander Green Lane, or the VBS Community Stadium in the EFL. How excited are you?
Yeah, very excited. This is certainly the build-up in the last few days is really mounting, and I've been down to the ground for a couple of times this week for the first time for a while, and seeing the developments and the pitch really taking shape, and the new floodlights, turnstiles, and all the hard work that everyone's been doing to get the ground into shape, ready for the first game. The players are really looking forward to it, as are myself and all the staff. There was a real big feel about the first game in Forest Green, the first ever game in the Football League. Follows very quickly up with the first ever league game, and Cardiff and the stadium, and Mick McCarthy and all what the players that were playing that night for Cardiff was again a very special occasion. But for me, and I know for most of the players within the squad here, that this is the biggest one, the first ever home game at Gander Green Lane in the club's history in the Football League. It's such a special occasion, and to be back at home, Hartlepool seemed a long time ago, and to be back at home in front of what's going to be a very big and hopefully loud crowd come Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. We're so excited and can't wait.
How much of a difference do you think it's going to make to have, for the first time this season, the majority of the crowd in our favour rather than against us?
Yeah, of course it makes a difference. Not just the crowd, the home comforts and the home dressing room, and the good feel about being back at home. And we were very strong at home last season, and we were fortunate to have supporters in the stadium for 3 games, which made a huge difference, and certainly in the last game. And we're really looking forward to seeing, as I said, a really big crowd there on Saturday. And I'm sure they'll be certainly our 12th man and be supporting us from the very start.
Attractive opposition as well, founder members of the Premier League in the 90s. Now, after 4 games, bottom of the table, still looking for their first point. But Oldham will have had a pick up, I guess, on Tuesday night, getting through in the Carabao Cup, and now facing an away tie at Brentford. What are you expecting on Saturday?
Yeah, it's a very, very tight lead. There's nothing in any of the games. Myself and Jason have watched the videos on Oldham, and all their games have been very, very close, and it's just not gone their way at the moment. As you said there, they've progressed through 2 rounds in the League Cup, so that will certainly give them confidence, and they've got a great draw against the Premier League side away from home. So, no, we're expecting a very tough game. They've got some good, experienced players within their squad, and they've got a good and experienced manager who certainly knows the level as well, and knows what it takes to get a result, and has been very successful. So, yeah, all right, they haven't had the best of starts in the league, but we won't be fooling ourselves here. This is going to be an extremely tough game for us. And
from their sort of history in the 90s, it's a great team to have coming as our first home opposition as well.
Yeah, as you just said there, an inaugural member of the Premier League, and I remember back in the day, the players that they had there, and that season they had in the Premier League, and the AstroTurf pitch they had back in the day, in a famous ground, a big club, and I think it's a fitting tribute really for us to be playing such a club as our first ever home team in the Football League.
And looking at a few days now to reflect on the Scunthorpe game, you still very pleased with the way things have gone after the first 3 league games?
Definitely, yeah. Just probably wish and probably could have had a couple more points on the board. As we've touched on before, a good performance and an unfortunate result, one we didn't deserve on the first day. A great point at Salford against the bookies' favourites, and a result we did deserve, the draw there. But to go to Scunthorpe and give away a very disappointing goal that I wasn't happy with, but to come back, show great character again, get the equaliser, and look the stronger team at the end, and should have, or maybe could have won the game with the 2 chances we had at the end. But like I've always said, a point on the road against anybody is always a great result. And it's been a tough start for us because we've had to go 3/4 games on the road. But we can't wait to get back at home and in front of our own supporters.
Yes, I guess training on a Friday must have made a pleasant difference this week.
Yeah, we're in on Friday, and instead of travelling up and down that motorway, we had a bit of a sticky journey last week. So no, it's nice to be preparing for that home game and not being on the road. It's been a nice week for us.
Now, the supporters that went to Scunthorpe would have seen Ben Wyatt in the walls a little bit, head bandage. How's he been this week?
No, he's been fine. Just a little cut above his eyebrow, so he's had a little stitch in there, but that'll be patched up, and no, he's fine and all good to go.
And Rob Milsom and Louis John missed out last week. What is the news on the injury front?
Yeah, Will Randall's been back in training. Toby Silva's got quite a few more sessions under his belt after missing virtually the whole of pre-season. So we'll look to, when we can, get a game or two into those players as the season settles down and give them some minutes. But Will and Toby have been in full training so that they're fit. Rob Milson again has trained this week, just wasn't quite right for the weekend's game. And Louis John was really touch and go, and we felt it was probably a risk to start, hence why he was on the bench. So again, Louis had a full week of training. Ben White's completely fine, and we haven't picked up anything else. So the squad's in a good place.
And as you say, in a good place, and good to have a virtually full squad just about a full squad to choose from.
Yeah, and it's fortunate we were quite lucky, or you say lucky, or whatever you want to call it, in terms of our injuries last year. But we certainly try and look after them as best we can. We like to try and sign players who've got good injury records and play games, and hopefully that continues into this season, just like it did last year.
Talking about the full squad, another 4 days to go to the transfer window. Any likelihood of any activity in those 4 days? Something you haven't had to deal with before?
Yeah, no, it's certainly been busy, and the closer we get into the window, the more my phone isn't stopping, and it's certainly a really busy period. And I am looking to try and bring one more in. So I'm still working on that, and hopefully have some more news after the weekend.
Brilliant. Well, thanks again, Matt. We look forward to seeing you back at home on Saturday in familiar surroundings. And let's hope the match lives up to its billing. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it so much too. As I said at the start of the interview there, and I'll just thank everybody who's volunteered and helped so much. And I can't single out names, but every time I've spoken to, it seems like Tim Allison and Adrian Barry have pretty much lived at the ground, along with so many other people's help to get the stadium into the shape and to be ready to go on many aspects of upgrading Gander Green Lane to host this first ever Football League game. And I thank everyone for their help, and we look forward to seeing everyone on what's going to be a special day.
Brilliant. Thanks, Matt. See you on Saturday.
Brilliant. Thank you too. Cheers, Tony.